Groupon Triforce. So three sort of important pieces of the business are the daily deals, which are all about awareness and trial, and of course sort of the cornerstone of where we came from and what we started as. The next important piece is Groupon Now. How many of you are familiar with Groupon Now, our instant deals platform? Great. Hopefully all of you will check it out after this lunch. Groupon Now is about yield management. It's about, I'm a yoga studio and I know maybe the weather's bad and I know I'm going to have empty spaces in my studio, so I'm going to run a Groupon Now deal for that part of the day where I know I'm going to have sort of space available, and then I know that I'm now going to fill up my space for that class. Or the same thing can go for a restaurant. You might know that it's Super Bowl Sunday and you're not a sports bar, but if you run a deal, you might be able to actually bring in folks to your restaurant and fill a few more tables. It's all about yield management. It's all about having tons of deals in these local markets all around the country that people can buy now and use now. And the other thing that it does for our merchants is it provides another way for them to engage with us. So since there's such incredible demand for merchants to run on Groupon, they can only probably run a feature 3-4 times a year at best, but they can always run on Groupon Now so that they have a way to engage with our customer base over and above the daily email product. And then Groupon Rewards is something a little bit new for us. It's a way to engender not only customer loyalty, but merchant loyalty, and I'll get to that in a second. This probably looks very familiar to all of you. Sort of the anatomy of the Groupon deal and just the awareness and trial piece. You know, this is what the email looks like that you get in your inbox. This is what the deal page looks like. And this is how you can view it on your mobile device, which is, I think, an incredibly great user experience. Both of them, all around. I don't need to sort of go through all of these, but, you know, basically just the fine print and the price and the write-up and the nutshell. And you know, how many people have purchased the deal. Pretty straightforward, and it's worked very, very effectively for us. The Groupon Now piece, again, is supplemental to the awareness and trial piece. And you know, it's buy now and use now, and you get to set the terms. There's a lot more flexibility around it. People widely know that our model is essentially, a lot of people ask this, they say, what's the Groupon model and how do you make money? The Groupon model is, there's a Groupon for a restaurant. You pay us $20 and you get a $40 voucher that you actually can print out, of course, or you can use your mobile device to redeem it. There are a lot of cool ways to do that. But in terms of the Groupon Now piece of the business, there's a lot more flexibility for merchants to set their terms, set the parameters of time windows. They can say, I only want to bring people into my store from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. because those are my non-peak hours, and we allow merchants, unparalleled, I would say, flexibility to be able to set those hours and different kinds of parameters on pricing. It doesn't necessarily have to be 50% off, and there's just a lot more flexibility to be able to drive yield into your establishment that day. Groupon Rewards. I'm very excited about this one. I actually just spent the last month interviewing MBA students for summer internships. I was at the business school at Duke, the business school at Wharton, and at Harvard Business School, sitting with tons of students who are hopeful that they'll be able to work with us for the summer. And one of the questions that I ask them is, I say, like many businesses, we have two types of customers. We have our merchant base, and it's a symbiotic relationship, right? So we have the merchant base with whom we want to get the best offers we can, and we want to try to get them to be as exclusive as we possibly can because, as you all know, there are a lot of competitors in the space. And to the extent that we can have the best offers out there in front of our customers, then that serves everyone well. It serves the merchant well, it serves the customers well, and it serves Groupon well. And so what we did is we acquired a company, I'll finish the student piece, which is I asked the students, what's the more important customer? The end user customer, the buyer of Groupons, or the merchant? And I don't think there's necessarily a right answer to that question. Most of them answer the way I would answer, which is that I would say it's the merchants. Because at the end of the day, if a business has a marketing budget, you can acquire customers all day long, right? There's a certain cost per acquisition metric that you might be trying to hit, whatever that number is, and conversion metrics around that to determine what the ROI is. So you can bring in that customer base. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the right merchants and the right offers that they're looking for, that customer has really low switching costs. right? They can go to, the Washington, D.C. based competitor. They can go to the big G competitor, Rachel. And there are a lot of different places they can go for daily deals. So I think it's actually most important to, as much as possible, secure the most high quality merchants and the best offers. Because if you have that, then your customers are going to stay with you. And I sort of harken back to my Home Depot days, and I'll never forget one of our executives used to say, out of stock equals loss of sale, right? So if there's the orange box over here and the blue box across the street, and someone comes into your store, or the analogy is onto your website, and you don't have what they're looking for, they're going to go visit the other guy. And so I think merchants and offerings and what we can do to retain merchants are paramount. So what we did to continue that is we acquired a company called Zappity. And what that technology basically allows us to do, we integrate it into our systems. You buy a Groupon for, I don't know, Giacomo's Italian restaurant, or whatever it's called over there. And after you buy that Groupon, we then have stored your credit card information so that when you go back and you patronize Giacomo's time after time, we set parameters with the merchant, and they say, once that customer has spent $50 with us after the initial Groupon, or $100 with us, it will then actually unlock a Groupon deal that they can use. So it would be this, 4 for 20, like a crazy deal, a really, really good deal that rewards customers for their loyalty. But it's defensible for us, as a leader in the space, because we can say to our merchants, no one else in the space is offering this to you, which is an added service that gets customers to come back to your establishment time after time, even after that initial Groupon purchase, and incentivize that customer to keep coming back to you. And it's all automated through our back end. So we're in the process now of signing merchants up to do that, and we're testing it in various markets. And it's going well, and I really do think that it'll give us a defensible position and a reason for merchants to be really sticky with us and to have exclusive relationships with us. All right. Just a little bit about how the Groupon marketing platform can benefit your brand. I think that most folks, again, think of us as, I put together a Groupon deal with a Groupon local sales rep. I do the feature. It yields me 1,000 customers. And, I sort of see whatever kind of bump. I might do some ROI analysis. Might be lofty to say that the local pizza shop is doing ROI analysis on 1,000 customers coming into their store. But we really try to provide them a lot of tools to do CRM sort of on the back end. We say we will deliver you what we think are 1,000 high-quality customers, but it's up to you with our guidance to figure out ways to get them to come back. Do you give them a 20% bounce back in their check when you bring the check to them, or things like that? But it's more than just that in-and-out daily deal. It's really a platform, and it's really a way to reach this audience in a unique way. So sort of some of the pillars here, like I said, there's this marketing impact. So we have this revenue split. So if you run a 20 for 40 Groupon for a restaurant, on balance, Groupon is keeping 10 of that, and the merchant is keeping 10 of that. But over and above that, you might have gone out in an email to 200,000 subscribers in the Atlanta area who have indicated interest in restaurants, or 300,000 subscribers in the New York City area who has indicated interest in bars, let's just say, not so far off. And so not only have you yielded X amount of customers that that day that you will bring into your business, and they've prepaid for that Groupon, but you effectively just got a free email send to a highly targeted audience that's looking for your type of product and service. And you don't pay for that. So I think the value of that is, if you try to back into an effective CPM or something like that, I think there's tremendous value there. And there's a lot of anecdotal evidence from merchants to say, I had so many people end up buying tickets to my event or coming to my establishment and saying, oh, I didn't get a chance to buy the Groupon, but I saw you on there and it made me really interested in patronizing your business. So that's gold in my book. Sales and upsell, so you have a group of folks who are now coming into your establishment over a period of time, whether you have a 3-month expiration window, a 6-month expiration window, whatever it is, and you're driving those measurable sales in, and you have an opportunity to upsell them or bring them back into your establishment. Again, there's the new customer trial piece, and we really are driving new customers through this sort of idea of discovering new places in your city. And then the measurability. As you all know, you can see that ticker as it goes throughout the day and see those numbers build. And I don't have a screenshot of this, but the merchant center that we provide to merchants on the back end is pretty fascinating. I have a friend who's a theater producer in New York, and she has a show on tour in a few cities around the country, and recently ran a Groupon for her show in Detroit, sold 400 tickets or so to about 8 dates of her show. And I was able to send her something that showed her when people bought the tickets, which day of the feature, how many were bought for each show, the heat map of where the people lived in the Detroit area, male-female ratio, and then also the age breakdown of the buyers. Interestingly, just anecdotally, 54% of the people who bought tickets to that were over 50. So that sort of goes a little bit against that 25 to 45, females, but it's categorical. And within those 190 categories, there's certainly a tremendous amount of variance as to who's buying what. Theater, of course, skewing a little bit older.